Yeah.
You look good doing it, though, Ryan. A Portland man came home tonight to face the music in Oklahoma.
Daniel Robinson plays Will Parker, and we leave you with some highlights of tonight's opening at the Keller Auditorium. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you, folks.
Ford knows you've seen it all and you know what you want. Now, TNC has the loaded Ford Explorer priced at $23,995. We have 15 of them. Plus, they're loaded and a great value. Or choose 0% APR for up to 60 months. Your new Explorer is at TNC Ford. We're right off of I-5 at the Rose Quarter. Town and Country Ford. Drive home happy.
Looks like Timmy's on that website again.
Yeah, bet he's watching videos of astronauts doing their laundry or something.
Hey, he got an A on his last project. Potato salad?
Experience the internet as never before with Verizon Online DSL with MSN Premium. Get it for as low as $29.95, but be careful, this is powerful stuff.
Timmy, your dinner's getting cold. Time to get off the computer.
Okay, I'm getting off. Dad, the dog.
Verizon. Make progress every day.
What do you do when he wants meat lovers, she wants a Supreme, and you want your favorite? Well, Pizza Hut's got the answer. The incredible new 4 for All. 4 individual pizzas filling one box from corner to corner for just $11.99. All on a not too thick, not too thin crust. The one and only 4 for All. Just $11.99 only at Pizza Hut. The only way to make everyone happy is to gather around the good stuff.
It's Binion's best sale of the year. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses. Any pair of glasses. Name brand frames, bifocal, even prescription sunglasses. Half off. Binion's 50% off sale ends Saturday. Binion's. Why pay more?
From loft living to cool kitchens.
We're at the Home and Garden Show.
17 contests so far, and John Kerry racks up his 15th win.
I want to thank the state of Wisconsin for moving this cause and this campaign forward tonight.
But a strong showing for John Edwards has him claiming it's now a two-man race.
The message was this: objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
Howard Dean once again lags far behind. What happened?
I know that some of you are disappointed because we didn't do as well as we'd hoped we would do in Wisconsin.
Tonight, vote 2004, the Wisconsin primary.
From ABC News. This is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
One of these years, on one of these primary election nights, some candidate who's just had the stuffing knocked out of him for the 14th time in a row will startle a television interviewer by saying, actually, I'm only staying in the race on the off chance that I'll be offered the vice presidential slot on the ticket, or a cabinet post, or the next available seat on the Supreme Court. That, however, is not what happens in American politics. To publicly acknowledge a willingness to settle for anything less than the presidential nomination is to lose whatever leverage you might have left. Better to get out of the race altogether and count on the frontrunner's gratitude than to stay in the race and admit that you can't win. Which is what makes Howard Dean's candidacy tonight something of a mystery. His campaign appears to have gone into cardiac arrest. In Wisconsin tonight, he came in a poor third. But for the moment, Dean is neither pulling out nor mounting any sort of a real campaign anymore. We'll focus on that a little later. The winner in Wisconsin tonight is John Kerry. The margin over John Edwards, who came in second, is not altogether clear, but it's narrow enough to allow Senator Edwards to claim that he has beaten expectations, picked up momentum. Those claims are true, but may be increasingly irrelevant if John Kerry keeps winning elections. That's why at times like this, it's helpful to be able to turn to George Stephanopoulos, who anchors this week and who knows something about presidential politics. George, what's going on tonight? Or what has gone on?
What has gone on is Howard Dean's campaign has effectively ended tonight. He's 0 for 17. He's basically going to suspend campaign activities and figure out how to try to keep his crusade alive, keep his movement alive, even though his candidacy is not going to end in anything more than, you know, a candidacy that had some great days early on. John Edwards does have bragging rights tonight. He came in a strong second place to John Kerry, but in the end, John Kerry has won again. He's now won 15 out of the first 17 contests. No one who's had this kind of start has ever been denied the nomination. It's hard to see how John Kerry is going to be denied it as well.
Well, you can do it mathematically, I suppose. If you look at the number of delegates, John Kerry certainly doesn't have it sewed up yet. What does he have to do to sew it up beyond all hope for John Edwards?
Well, the big date is obviously March 2nd. It's coming up in 2 weeks. You have 11 states. You have 1,151 delegates at stake. Big states like New York, California, Ohio, Georgia. What he has to do is win a majority of delegates on that day. He already has 3 times the number of delegates that John Edwards has right now. If he has decisive wins on that day, he'll basically lock it up. But John Edwards now has what he wants. He does have a 2-man race for these next 2 weeks. He's not only hoping perhaps to strengthen his chance for the vice presidency, but he's also hoping that in 2 weeks, a long time in politics, some bad stories can break on John Kerry, and he might be able to pull a big surprise on March 2nd.
Is there anything he can do proactively to take it away from John Kerry, or does he have to count on John Kerry making a bad slip or someone putting the banana peel in his path?
Mostly a slip by John Kerry, but we saw some hints in this Wisconsin primary of what John Edwards can do. He beat John Kerry on the issue of economy and jobs. He beat John Kerry on the issue of trade. A lot of Democratic primary voters believe that foreign trade is costing American workers' jobs. John Edwards very clearly said, I was against the North American Free Trade Agreement. John Kerry was for it. He drew that distinction sharply. He's going to have to draw it even more sharply on March 2nd, particularly in the big states of Ohio and Georgia.
Very quickly, George, the Kerry campaign, obviously, as recently as a couple of days ago, was hoping for a much bigger win than this. What went wrong?
Probably didn't spend enough time in Wisconsin, probably didn't spend enough money in Wisconsin. Also, he was the presumptive nominee. He started to get the stories that a nominee gets. He was getting some negative stories in the press about his personal life. He was already getting hit by the Bush campaign. And I think a little bit of buyer's remorse set in among Democrats.
George Stephanopoulos, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Earlier this evening, I spoke with Senator John Edwards, who finished a close second in today's Wisconsin primary. Senator Edwards, as you and I speak, ABC has declared Senator Kerry the winner in Wisconsin. We project that you will be coming in somewhere within 10 points or so of Senator Kerry. Does that constitute a good finish as far as you're concerned? Because when all is said and done, you still came in second.
Oh, it's a huge surge. I mean, I was behind Senator Kerry by 30 to 35 points 3 days ago. And what's happened, I think, is people are responding to my message of protecting jobs and creating jobs. We had a great debate Sunday night here in Wisconsin, and yesterday I got the endorsement of the largest newspaper in Wisconsin, and they made the case that I was the most electable. And if you look at the exit results, apparently I had a big lead over Senator Kerry among independents, who we have to get to win the general election in the fall.
Explain to me how this works ultimately, because there does come a point when if you keep on coming in second, someone's going to say, sorry, but you are not the nominee.
I think the way it works is we're now clearly to a 2-person race. That's what I've been waiting for, Ted, for weeks now. And it's now clear that it's Senator Kerry and myself. I think the focus will be on the two of us, the differences between us, the strengths that each of us bring to the race against George Bush. If you've been looking at, I saw a national poll today that showed him going down and me surging up. No, I think this is going to be a very competitive race going into Super Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Tell me what the 2 or 3 issues are that so differentiate your candidacy from his that people are going to be able to look at that and say, I get it, I understand, it's got to be Edwards, not Kerry.
I think the single biggest issue is jobs, Ted, and trade. You know, Senator Kerry has a legitimate position, but it's different than mine. He supported NAFTA, has supported a whole group of trade agreements. I was against NAFTA, have been against a number of the trade agreements that he supported. And for me, this is not just economic policy and trade policy. It's very personal. I have seen up close what happens when a factory closes. Happened in my own hometown in the mill that my father worked in. It's devastating to the community, devastating to the families who are involved. That's probably the single biggest difference between us. There are other differences between us, both in background and on issues.
Now, when I asked you to give me three, you gave me the one that I've heard over and over again, and I've heard you make that speech about your background,
yes.
and it's clearly moved a lot of people, but what are the other issues that differentiate? I mean, I'm sure Senator Kerry would say he's also for the creation of as many jobs as possible. What else differentiates the two of you?
Well, I can give you two other examples. On the issue of the struggles of the middle class, Senator Kerry talks about the struggles of the middle class, as do I, but I've laid out the most comprehensive plan about how we strengthen and expand the middle class, helping them save, helping them invest, cracking down on predatory lenders and payday lenders and credit card companies. This is something special and unique to me. I'm the candidate in this race that has consistently talked about lifting the 35 million Americans who live in poverty out of poverty. I think it's a moral issue, something I feel deeply about, something I talk about much more and more consistently than Senator Kerry. So there are three issues. I think there are actually more, but those are three of the big ones.
These are all economic issues. What about the differences between the two of you on foreign policy? Are there any?
I think there aren't great differences between us. I think both of us believe that we need to internationalize what's happening in Iraq. Both of us believe America needs to lead and be strong, but we need to lead in a way that works with the international community and doesn't alienate them. I don't think there are huge differences between us on how America leads around the world.
Senator Edwards, again, as you point out, you've come a long way from where you were a few days ago. I congratulate you on that. Look forward to talking to you as this campaign goes along. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks for having me.
One day you're the front runner, the next everyone around you is saying, time to get out. Dr. Dean's Wild Ride when we come back.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Circuit City.
Computer, scanner, printer, need it all. Gotta burn CDs, email goofy pictures, and definitely need a video card for games.
Is that it?
It does it for me. What do you guys need it to do?
Whatever you need, save on your new computer today at Circuit City. Right now, save $400 on this HP notebook computer with DVD player and CD burner. Just $699.99 after mail-in rebates and instant savings. Circuit City, we're with you.
The stylish Christopher Lowell collection has arrived. 4 brand new pre-coordinated lines available exclusively at Office Depot. Designer home office furniture perfect for any look, any lifestyle, and any budget.
The Passion of the Christ. Rated R. Opens in theaters Wednesday, February 25th.
From the mind that created The Stand, The Shining, and The Green Mile comes a world premiere television event. Stephen King's Kingdom Hospital, ABC Wednesday, March 3rd.
This is a notice of unauthorized Ford buyback. Demeraux Ford has received corporate funding to buy back Ford vehicles at up to 120% of Kelley Blue Book, regardless of the amount you owe or the condition of your Ford. In addition, Ford will offer up to $4,000 in down payment assistance and 0% financing for 60 months. Do not miss this opportunity for returning Ford customers right now at Demeraux Ford. Buy the easiest way, the only way, the Demeraux way.
You know, the usual junk, card for my mom, I won $1 million, blah, 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 and then my Quest bill.
Well, we've made some big changes at Quest, and people are noticing. Long distance is now just 5 cents a minute with any calls over $20 a month on us. We've got great new local packages, too.
Did you check the mail? I did.
So your bill could actually be good news. How cool is that?
Come to mama.
What's going on here? We like to call it our spirit of service in action.
In the Democratic contest so far, Howard Dean is batting 0 for 17. ABC's Dan Harris has been covering the former Vermont governor. I understand that a certain fatalistic realism is setting in among his staff, Dan.
Well, there's a little bifurcation. The official line is this guy is still in the race. He goes back home to Burlington, Vermont tomorrow to talk to his supporters and his staffers and figure things out, and we won't hear any official announcement until Thursday. Unofficially, I was speaking to one of his spokespeople after the event tonight, I turned to her and I said, "This is the last real speech of the campaign, isn't it?" And she said, "Yeah, it is." And then we talked about how strong he was in the speech, and she looked down, started to cry, and walked away.
What do you think are Dr. Dean's options at this point?
Well, there seem to be two camps in his campaign right now. There are people within the campaign who are arguing seriously that he should back John Edwards and drop out. Throw his support to John Edwards as a way to block John Kerry. Many of the people on the campaign and on the campaign website are very strongly anti-Kerry. The other argument, and there's serious discussions going on about this right now, is how to take this movement that Dean has built, which consists of 640,000 people who have signed up on the internet and who have donated around $50 million, an unprecedented amount, how to take this movement and turn it into a permanent political organization. What we're hearing from this camp within the Dean campaign is that Dean is not likely to deliver a formal concession speech on Thursday. Instead, he'll say something like, "This is a transition now between a full-fledged candidacy and the beginning of a movement to finish what I've begun with this campaign." Now, anytime you talk about Howard Dean, though, you have to have the following caveat. This is an unpredictable guy, and everything is subject to change.
I was going to say, if he's going to do what you've just laid out there, that sort of precludes him endorsing either candidate.
Right, and that's why I think there's this internal struggle going on in the campaign. But anybody you talk to from the campaign will say, yeah, we can voice our opinions, but nobody knows what Howard Dean is going to do except for Howard Dean. And right now, he's really acting from the gut, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Dan Harris, thanks very much. So how and why did Howard Dean fall so far, so fast? Here's ABC News senior correspondent Jim Wooten.
Today I announce that I am running for the presidency of the United States of America.
Imagine for a moment, imagine that after months and months and miles, after hundreds of speeches in dozens of states to thousands of people cheering and shouting, imagine after all that, it's all over. And although the Democrats in the country won't soon forget the Dean campaign, it'll be remembered primarily not for its amazing rise, but rather its precipitous fall. Howard Dean lived every long shot's dream, seemed to have the nomination within his reach, if not his grasp. His face famous on magazine covers, national news broadcasts.
One of them, this man, former Vermont Governor Howard Dean.
The man who has rocketed from the bottom to the top of the Democratic pack by blistering President Bush.
And now, for him and all his loyalists, the undeniable numbers must be sad, if not numbing.
Hi, I'm Governor Howard Dean.
After raising $40 million, more than any other Democrat, his campaign limped into Wisconsin last week, hurting for money. Moreover, in the last 29 days, Dr. Dean has lost 17 consecutive primaries and caucuses, and in most of them, he finished nowhere close.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Wisconsin.
Sure, General Clark now out of it, and Senator Edwards still in it, haven't done much better. And as Senator Lieberman was winless, so was Congressman Gebhardt. And yet their combined lack of success against Senator Kerry pales in comparison with Dr. Dean's spectacular collapse.
That's what I'm about to do.
So, why is that? Well, there were bobbles along the way, a flap over his personal records in Vermont, his untimely assessment of January's biggest news story.
But the capture of Saddam has not made America safer.
Still, it had to be something else, or at least something more than that, or his now infamous primal moment in Des Moines.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House! Yeah!
That night astonished just about everybody. Perfectly understandable. Dean was endorsed by Al Gore, by Tom Harkin, Iowa's popular Democratic senator, constantly at his side. Didn't matter. He had the imprimatur and muscle of AFSCME, the Public Employees Union. Didn't matter. Not in Iowa, not in New Hampshire. In fact, nothing he said...
I don't think it's enough to change presidents. I think we need a real change in Washington.
And nothing he did seemed to make any difference. He introduced his nearly invisible wife to a primetime audience.
Temper? How often does he lose his temper around you?
I can't remember the last time. He just doesn't get that angry.
Hi, Dave. He tried a little humor on David Letterman.
And the number one way Howard Dean can turn things around?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe fewer crazy red-faced rants?
Funny, but it didn't matter. His campaign manager, Joe Trippi, was replaced by a more experienced pro. Didn't matter. Yet everywhere Democrats were voting, north and south, coast to coast, day after day, Howard Dean labored on. And still, it didn't matter anywhere. In Wisconsin today, there was some effort to make some sense of it.
He's extremely passionate about it, and I think ultimately that was his end, because you have to be able to temper that passion with a little bit of just, you know, I don't know, civility almost.
It's odd, isn't it? Few in his party disagreed with his positions, and he was applauded for the way he'd energized so many demoralized Democrats.
Maybe a few voters were put off by some of Dr. Dean's edgier moments, and perhaps a few more by the absence of his wife from his campaign. But when the postmortems for 2004 are finally finished, the most likely explanation for the implosion of his campaign is this. Thousands of voters who were impressed with Dr. Dean and agreed with him, in the end, rejected him.
That was evident even today, as Dean's still eager volunteers went looking for one more vote.
Have you decided whom you're going to vote for?
I'm thinking we're going with Kerry.
I still think Kerry's the man.
Alas. So in the end, here in Wisconsin, where the winter's as frozen as Howard Dean's future, here and everywhere, nothing really mattered except electability. And that cost him the prize. Close for a while, but no cigar. I'm Jim Wooten for Nightline in Madison, Wisconsin.
Thank you. You all make me so happy.
So is this a two-man race now? That conversation and more ruminations on Governor Dean when we come back.
It's a beautiful morning.
I don't want to go surfing, and I'm not looking to sail around the world. All I want is to get out here early and surprise a few clams.
Ask your doctor today about Vioxx, a prescription medicine from Merck, and find out what Vioxx can do for you.
My doctor prescribed Vioxx, and I stayed with it.
Vioxx.
Meanwhile, at dinner.
Our network's been down for 2 days.
Internet worm.
Whoa.
Our sales took a pounding. How did yours do?
It hit our suppliers.
You can never catch up.
Oh, the twin brothers doom and gloom.
Jeff, you're awfully quiet.
Our network didn't go down.
No.
No?
No.
Then get the check.
Keeping business up and running. This is the power of the network. Now.
A few years ago, I get this pain. It's no big whoop, just a little heartburn. Yeah, a burning, piercing fireball right here. So I cut down on the foods that bother me. I changed my diet. I worked out. Even my mom tries to help.
Son, try sleeping on an incline.
So I slipped some 2x4s under my bed. Oh yeah, my wife really loved that one. Then I started drinking that chalky stuff, popping acid reducers, and it all helped, but the pain keeps coming back 2-3 days a week. Okay, finally visit my doctor. He says it's acid reflux disease and prescribes Prevacid to help prevent the acid and heal the damage. So I take it like he says, and guess what? It really helps stop the acid pain. How's that for a happy ending?
Prescription Prevacid actually helps prevent acid where it starts by turning off many of the pumps that produce it. Prevacid has a low occurrence of side effects such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. Ask your doctor for more information and if Prevacid is right for you. Help prevent the acid with Prevacid.
Late night gossip on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Ken and Barbie are breaking up. I guess Ken has like until Monday to get his miniature crap out of the dream house.
Jimmy Kimmel Live coming up.
So you want to work here, huh? Yeah. Well, with our Jiffy Lube signature service oil change, we do things differently. Really? First, we replace the old oil, then we replace the oil filter. Then we inspect the wiper blades, air filtration system, and lights. Really? After vacuuming, we clean the windows. Windows? A thorough check of all the belts. There's belts? Then we lubricate the chassis if necessary. After that, we check the fluid level in the battery, adding water if needed.
Visit Jiffy Lube for their thorough, some might say obsessive signature service oil change.
Ask for Pennzoil when you come in for your next Jiffy Lube signature service oil change.
My guest tonight, Mike Murphy, a political and media consultant whose clients have included Senator John McCain and Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. and Ron Klain, Chief of Staff of Vice President Al Gore and an advisor to the presidential campaign of General Wesley Clark. All right, Murphy, I'm tired of buttering you up week after week and getting nothing but banalities. Give me a blinding insight here. What went wrong with the Dean campaign?
Oh, Howard Dean forgot the big trick of the voters, which is they change the way they look at you once you're successful. He was a great insurgent, screaming, you know, throwing lightning bolts. But when he got to the top, people started to see, could this guy be a president? And he wasn't ready to ride the wave he created. Campaign completely imploded.
Now, does that mean, Ron Klain, that Senator Kerry has the same problem to worry about?
I don't think so. I agree with Mike that I think that Howard Dean was a great candidate to send a message, but once the message got sent that voters wanted George Bush out of office, Democrats looked for someone else to be their next president. And I think John Kerry has done that. He's had an amazing record of success in the primaries. He won again tonight, and he did very well in Wisconsin among core Democratic voters. He clearly has the strong grasp on the voters he needs to get the Democratic nomination.
If that is now so blindingly obvious, why did your former boss, Al Gore, endorse Howard Dean?
Well, I think it was perhaps less obvious back then, and, you know, Vice President Gore needs to speak for himself. I supported Wes Clark. I thought